like everything I needed you to be aware. So again, if you join us just now and you do not want to appear on any case in the replay of the video, you can turn your camera off or put a nice little picture like Ashwin did. Voilà. So tonight we're going to do a dictation and then comment on a few aspects, grammatical or spelling or pronunciation aspects of this dictation. And I've put a few like additional examples and exercises. But voilà, I can clarify any points that you would need. Tout le monde a un crayon, papier?
Ouais.
Okay. So as usual, no dictionary, no Google Translate or any online dictionary, just your brains. D'accord. Alors, for the first time, I'm just going to read the text. You don't need to write anything, but just try to make sense of what I'm saying and try to see where potential difficulties could be. And then I will repeat more slowly to make sure that everybody has time to write down. It's longer than usual because it's the main focus of today's more the dictation. Alors, écoutez. Ma grand-mère se rappelait. Petit, nous jouions dehors tous les jours et tout le jour avec les autres enfants du quartier. Nous grimpions aux arbres. Je me rappelle qu'on volait les belles cerises du voisin. Si quelqu'un nous voyait, nous partions en courant. En grandissant, la vie est bien sûr devenue plus sérieuse. Nous étudions avec un maître strict parce que nos parents rêvaient d'une vie meilleure pour nous.
D'accord.
Ça va? Vous avez compris un petit peu l'histoire?
Oui.
Ça va? Ok. Alors, on commence. Ma grand-mère se rappelait. Ma grand-mère se rappelait. 2 points. So 2 points is colon, so 2 points. Ma grand-mère se rappelait. 2 points. Ouvrez les guillemets, so open quotation marks or dialogue marks. Petit, virgule, comma, petit, virgule. Nous jouions dehors. Petit, virgule. Nous jouions dehors tous les jours. Nous jouions dehors tous les jours et tout le jour. Et tout le jour avec les autres enfants du quartier. Avec les autres enfants du quartier. Point. So full stop. Bonjour John. We're just into the first sentence of the dictation. I will repeat the sentence and I will reread the text later, so you can just start now. Petit, virgule, nous jouions dehors tous les jours et tout le jour avec les autres enfants du quartier. Point. Nous grimpions aux arbres. Nous grimpions aux arbres. Point. Je me rappelle qu'on volait. Je me rappelle qu'on volait les belles cerises du voisin. Point. Je me rappelle qu'on volait les belles cerises du voisin. Point. Si quelqu'un nous voyait, virgule, si quelqu'un nous voyait, virgule, nous partions en courant. Nous partions en courant. Point. Donc, si quelqu'un nous voyait, virgule, nous partions en courant, point. En grandissant, virgule, la vie est bien sûr devenue plus sérieuse. En grandissant, virgule, la vie est bien sûr devenue plus sérieuse. Point. Nous étudions avec un maître strict. Nous étudions avec un maître strict parce que nos parents rêvaient d'une vie meilleure pour nous. Point. Nous étudions avec un maître strict parce que nos parents rêvaient d'une vie meilleure pour nous. Point. Et fermez les guillemets. So end of the quotation marks. Je répète tout le texte. Ma grand-mère se rappelait. 2 points. Ouvrez les guillemets. Petit, nous jouions dehors tous les jours et tout le jour avec les autres enfants du quartier. Point. Nous grimpions aux arbres. Point. Je me rappelle qu'on volait les belles cerises du voisin. Point. Si quelqu'un nous voyait, virgule, nous partions en courant. Point. En grandissant, virgule, la vie est bien sûr devenue plus sérieuse. Point. Nous étudions avec un maître strict parce que nos parents rêvaient d'une vie meilleure pour nous. Point. Ça va? Vous avez tout le texte? Alors, je vais vous laisser 1-2 minutes pour relire le texte, to do the proofreading. 2 things to check, absolutely. Check your verbs. So think about who's the subject of your verbs and what tense it is. And also check your nouns. So wonder about whether they're masculine or feminine, singular or plural. And if there's anything else you need to make the agreement with, such as adjective, the article. And I will correct.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just going to mute you, Andrew and Julia, so that you can keep talking, but mute. No, it doesn't work. Ok, ça va?
Oui, ça va.
Ah ouais. Quelle était la difficulté de la dictée pour vous? Elle était assez facile ou plutôt difficile?
Difficile.
Difficile pour Christine?
Yes.
Christine, vous avez participé la semaine dernière à l'atelier de grammaire, non? Vous
Yes.
Oui, d'accord. J'espère que ça vous aidera. Ouais. Ok. Alors, d'abord, avant de commencer à écrire la réponse, j'ai une question. Quels temps de conjugaison sont utilisés dans la dictée? L'imparfait, beaucoup d'imparfaits, oui. Et aussi
le conditionnel,
le conditionnel.
voyait. Hein.
Non, 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 non. Il y a... Ah, c'est que voyez. Non, c'est pas le conditionnel ici. C'est de l'imparfait, et il y a aussi, en général, quand il y a de l'imparfait, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Quand on dit la vie est devenue plus sérieuse, par exemple. C'est quel temps?
C'est composé.
Le passé composé. Et si vous avez fait la Grammar Clinic de la semaine dernière, ou peut-être si vous savez expliquer la différence entre l'imparfait et le passé composé, pourquoi ce texte est à l'imparfait? And you should know, especially if you were there last week.
Oui, oui.
Oui, Jonathan. Alors.
C'était peut-être parce que it's a description of things which happened over a period of time or more than once, every day.
Voilà, c'est a description of her past life and what she used to do.
Yeah.
We saw between the imparfait and the passé composé. The imparfait is mainly used to talk about recurring actions and also to set the background, so for childhood memories, what life was like, so a description of the setting, and also what she used to do. And that's what she says here. And when you say la vie est devenue plus sérieuse, we have here the passé composé because
It's an interruption of
voilà.
what happened before.
Voilà. What's that life that I'm describing in the imparfait used to be has changed. There was a disruption, an interruption, and that switch is done in the passé composé. So that's one of the main differences between passé composé and imparfait. Voilà. So I'm saying that just to clarify the use of the tenses, but also because I want you to really think about how the imparfait is formed, because there are some spelling like tricks and like traps that I set for you in the dictation. But if you think logically from the rule of formation of the imparfait, you should hopefully have avoided them. But we're going to start moving to I have two imparfaits composés. Il décrit un événement dans le passé. Alors, I don't know what il refers to here, but the passé composé is going to talk about more a one-off event or a change or a succession of events. Where imparfait is setting the background and talking about recurring events. And we're going to see now. You may have more even comprehension of the story when seeing it written. So I'm going to share my screen. And so that would be your worksheet, actually your answer page that I will put up online. And in the worksheet, I always link to my, so we don't need it here. I have a proofreading checklist that you can download from my website. It's free. You just download it or print it and you use it every time you write a text in French, just to set good habits of what you need to check to be able to probably correct quite a few things by yourself. Alors, ma grand-mère. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So good? Ouais? Oh, okay. Alors, ma grand-mère. Alors, grand-mère, let's not forget it's a compound word. And so you need the hyphen. And because it's a compound word, you're not going to, like the adjective doesn't agree. You don't say ma grande-mère. Ma grand-mère se rappelait. Comment j'écris rappelait? Is that big enough, the text? Or should I maybe... Oui?
C'est bon.
Quand même mettre un peu plus gros. Bon. Alors, se rappelait. Combien de P?
Double P, double L?
2 P.
2 P?
Ouais.
Double L?
Non.
Ouais.
Non.
Un seul.
Alors, ça vient de... Alors, j'ai une réponse dans le chat. Se rappelait. Oui, Vina, c'est bien. C'est la bonne écriture. Alors, c'est la bonne orthographe. C'est le verbe se rappeler, donc qui vient de, qui fait partie de la famille appeler, 2 P, un L à l'infinitif. You can hear that it's only one L because I say E. Se rappeler.
Ouais.
Okay. When you have 2 L's or 2 consonants for that matter after an E, that E is pronounced E.
Ah, d'accord.
D'accord. Vous avez elle. Elle se rappelle.
Ah.
Le verbe s'appeler, when you conjugate it, c'est je m'appelle. So appeler, j'appelle, tu appelles, il appelle, nous
Appelons.
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 Donc, nous rappelons. Vous
Rappelez.
voilà. Et il pluriel, c'est il se rappelle ou il s'appelle. There's a difference of sound. Only the nous and the vous, and it's valid for like pretty much every verb that you conjugate. The nous and the vous will always be very close to the infinitive.
Ah.
In fact, why? It's because when you have an ending in nous and vous, you know the ending of the verbs is on, ONS, or a Z, and it's a strong sound. So we can have a weak sound just before. It's not hard to pronounce. But if you take the je, the tu, or the il singular form, if we didn't double the L, it would be je me rappelle, tu te rappelles, il se rappelle. It's like very weak. So we need to make the end, because the last syllable of a word is where the stress is in French, so we need something strong. But with the on sound or the a sound, we don't have any problem to pronounce. So we just keep like the stem of the verb. There's no spelling of pronunciation. The spelling helps with the pronunciation. Ça va, ça? Ouais. So, se rappelait. Ma grand-mère se rappelait un L because the ending in the imparfait is a strong sound. So we don't need to double the L to help. Ma grand-mère se rappelle. Petit. Comme ça?
Pluriel, peut-être?
Pourquoi?
Parce que c'est nu.
Oui. Oui, oui, oui. So it's an adjective and it's describing like so herself and the other kids she was playing with. So the adjective petit refers to the nous. C'est masculin pluriel. Well, I guess it's masculine because she's talking about les autres enfants. Enfant is masculine, but also if there were only like a bunch of girls with one boy, it would also be masculine. So by default, it's going to be masculine. Nous jouions. Alors, comment ça s'écrit, jouions?
Parfait.
Alors, à l'imparfait, c'est-à-dire, Christine, vous pouvez épeler, jouions?
Sorry, what was that?
Can you spell jouions? Oui, Gina, c'est ça.
Jouions.
Voilà, oui. Donc, imparfait.
Yeah, an imperfect.
IONS. So
Yes.
you conjugate the verb in the new form, in the present. Nous jouons. You remove the ONS and you add IONS. And that I is going to be very important later. Nous jouions dehors. Ah. Nous jouions dehors tous les jours. Ici, donc, les jours, c'est pluriel. Donc, tout est à la forme plurielle. C'est un adjectif qui décrit les jours. Tous les jours et tout le jour. I just wanted to see whether you could hear the difference between les jours et le jour and also spell tout accordingly. So in its plural form the first time and in the singular masculine the second time. We would usually, it's correct. We would prefer saying toute la journée the second time because we use, when we say la journée, it emphasizes the duration. It means all day long. Ou toute la soirée ou toute la nuit. Tous les jours et tout le jour avec les autres. Je pense pas de difficulté particulière ici, mais c'est le pluriel, donc enfant pluriel, autres enfants. It goes together. It's actually the adjective describing les enfants. Les autres enfants du quartier.
Qu'est-ce que c'est quartier?
Qu'est-ce que c'est quartier? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Est-ce que vous pouvez donner une définition ou donner une traduction?
Arrondissement.
Voisinage.
Alors, c'est plus petit que arrondissement. C'est quoi?
Voisinage.
Le voisinage, oui. Le quoi?
Le coin.
Le coin, les enfants du coin, oui, d'accord, oui, c'est ça. Donc, de neighborhood.
Ah, d'accord. Merci.
Ouais. Ok, alors, nous grimpions aux arbres. C'est quel verbe? Oups, où est-ce que j'ai écrit là? Nulle part. quel verbe est conjugué?
C'est grimper.
Grimper à l'imparfait. Donc, IONS. Ah oui. Si vous dites nous grimpons, c'est le présent. Hein. D'accord, il ne faut pas oublier ce i. Nous grimpons, nous grimpions aux arbres. C'est donc pluriel. You should have heard maybe the liaison aux arbres, indicating there's an X. But if you had arbre in the singular, you would have had nous grimpions à l'arbre. Nous grimpions aux arbres. Je me rappelle. Combien de P?
Double P.
Double P. Combien de E? Combien de L?
7 fois 2.
2. Voilà, pour faire le son E. On ne peut pas dire je me rappelle. It's too weak. Je me rappelle qu'on... Alors, pas de T, hein. Ça c'est le sujet on, ce n'est pas le verbe. Je me rappelle qu'on volait les belles cerises du voisin. Alors, comment s'écrit volet?
V-O-L-A-I-T.
C'est ça. Donc, on, the form is the third person singular, just like the il and elle singular, although the meaning is plural and means like herself and the other kids. They were robbing the cherries. They were stealing the cherries. But the form of the verb is singular. A-I-T. On volait les cerises, les belles cerises. Donc, belle, c'est comme appel. Il y a deux L et vous connaissez bien ce mot. Et c'est pluriel. Les belles cerises du voisin. Si quelqu'un nous voyait. Alors, si quelqu'un nous voyait, comment j'écris voyait?
O-Y-A-I-T.
Oui, c'est ça. Alors, nous voyez. Donc, pour faire l'imparfait, on se base sur la forme présent. Donc, nous voyons. On enlève le ONS et on ajoute la terminaison. Alors, here, be careful. Often, even French-speaking people would tend to put A-I-E-N-T because they see the nous and they say, oh, it's a plural subject. But who's the subject of this verb, voyait?
C'est quelqu'un, oui.
Quelqu'un.
Ouais.
Voilà. Si quelqu'un, c'est singulier, vous avez un, c'est bien le singulier, voyait nous. Ça, c'est l'objet direct. Si quelqu'un nous voyait, virgule, nous partions, donc le verbe partir, conjugué au présent, nous partons, et conjugué à l'imparfait, IONS, nous partions, on n'oublie pas le I, nous partions en courant. Ça, c'est un participe présent. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Alors, here it's not... both verbs are in the imparfait because this C has a meaning of when or whenever. Whenever someone would see us, we would run away. But this would, as I had explained in the grammar clinic if you were there last week, is not a would that indicates the conditional. It indicates the repetition of in the past. It was systematically what would happen. Si quelqu'un nous voyait, nous partions en courant. En grandissant, ça c'est encore un participe présent. La vie est bien sûr. Alors, sûr, on n'oublie pas l'accent circonflexe. That's to make the difference with the, it's not like so it's to make the difference with the preposition sûr. Not that we would really make a confusion because the meaning is different, but so that's how we do it. Est bien sûr devenu. Comme ça?
Avec un E,
Pourquoi?
parce que la vie, c'est la vie.
Oui. So that's your past participle. Past participle needs to agree with the subject. When you use the auxiliary être to conjugate, yeah. So it's not the case with avoir, but here we have the auxiliary être. And la vie, c'est féminin. La vie est devenue plus sérieuse, féminin aussi. Nous étudions. Who would like to spell it for me?
T-U-D-I-O-N-S.
Répétez, Christine.
E-T-U-D-I-O-N-S.
Vous êtes d'accord?
I don't know.
Alors, I have a comment in the chat. Oui, Vina, c'est correct, bravo. Alors, c'est le verbe, quel est l'infinitif?
Étudier.
Étudier.
Oh.
It's an ER verb. Conjugated in the present. Nous étudions. Imparfait. Remove ONS, add IONS. Nous étudions. I try to make it a bit longer, but it's counterintuitive. But your IONS is the ending of the imparfait. And this I here, it cannot go away. It's part of your stem. It's from étudier, and then you remove the ER. It's still étudie, and it's part of the that doesn't change.
Voilà.
So it's very tricky.
Very
Very
But I said if you apply the rule with logic, you should avoid the trap.
But your spell checker underlined it. Why?
But my spell check is doing what does it want to do? Now look, it's offering like words in English. Alors, it's my word in English. Like, yeah. Nous étudions avec un maître. Alors, maître, on n'oublie pas l'accent circonflexe. And it was my first episode of French Way podcast. Episode 1, I did an episode about the accent circonflexe and what it means. And it's a trace of a former S that used to exist, and you can still often see it in English, as in hôpital. In English, you still have the S, hospital, or there's a lot of words like this, or pâte, which is pasta. In English, you have master or mistress, so you have the S here. And in French, it has disappeared, but we do have an accent circonflexe in memory of it, if you want. Voilà, Vina also who is using the chat is saying forêt as well, has an accent circonflexe on the E in French, and you have forest in English, but you do have forestier, the adjective that comes from forest, in French still has the S and therefore no accent on it. Bien. Avec un maître strict. Oh, did I write it anywhere? No. Un maître strict. No E here because it's masculine. Enfin, le maître is masculine. Parce que it's a very common word, but it's easy to misspell it, and it's in 2 words. Parce que nos parents, pluriel, rêvaient. Alors, rêver, ça s'écrit avec un accent circonflexe.
Oh, yes.
And then we have a plural subject, nos parents. So the ending A-I-E-N-T. But whether it's in the singular or in the plural, in the imperfect, the pronunciation is still A. Nos parents rêvaient, c'est ça, Vina. Nos parents rêvaient d'une vie meilleure. Alors, qu'est-ce qui est meilleur? C'est la vie.
Sleeping in. I need a few minutes.
Féminin. D'une vie meilleure pour nous. Est-ce que c'est clair?
Ouais.
Ouais.
C'est bon.
If you've made mistakes, which I suppose you at least had one, do you understand the mistake?
Ouais.
Ouais.
Ça va? Est-ce que vous avez des questions pour le moment? Pas de questions? Ok. Alors, on va passer like we move to the comments about the dictation here. So the first question I've already asked you, which tenses are used in the text? So since it's my answer sheet, going to just rewrite it. Imparfait, to talk about childhood memories that happened
Many times.
many times. Voilà. Many times in the past. So past habit, a repetition. And passé composé for one of event. So the switch, the change. La vie est devenue plus sérieuse. So it's past repetition. It's also background. The background setting. Voilà. Ça, c'est la différence entre l'imparfait et le passé composé. So you don't need to write all everything that I'm writing right now that you see on the screen means that you will be able to get all these notes. If you want to take additional notes, you're welcome. But voilà, you can just focus otherwise on the screen. La vie est devenue plus sérieuse. Explain the use of passé composé in the sentence. But that's what we just did. So that was just to talk about the passé composé and imparfait here. So I'm moving on now. Alors, on volait les cerises du voisin. Alors, dans quel arbre poussent les cerises? Ça, c'est question de vocabulaire. Les cerises poussent sur un cerisier.
Pardon,
Un
cerisier.
cerisier. Voilà. Alors, j'ai un épisode de podcast, French Warrior Podcast, donc un vieil épisode 30, how to say fruit and fruit trees in French. So it's just to do a bit of a brush up on that. Alors, les pommes poussent sur un...
Pommier.
Voilà, donc il y a une logique ici. Les pommes poussent sur un pommier et les mangues.
Manguier?
Oui, elles poussent sur... Voilà, c'est masculin et la terminaison, la fin est similaire. Un manguier. Alors, you need to keep the U, hein, because without the U, we have mangier. So we have a different sound. Manguier. Et les poires?
Poirier.
Elles poussent sur un poirier. Et les fraises, alors okay, it's not a tree, but it's the same principle.
Fraisier.
Voilà, sur un fraisier. Les oranges,
Een orangier.
voilà, poussent sur un oranger.
Ah,
Un oranger. Et les pêches, c'est la même chose. Most of the time it's ye, but some fruit is e. Alors, les pêches poussent sur un
pêcher.
pêcher. Oui. Est-ce que vous avez des arbres fruitiers dans votre jardin?
Mhm.
À moi.
Personne?
Limonier.
Pardon?
Lemon. Limonier.
Ah non. Qu'est-ce que c'est un lemon? C'est
Citron.
un citron. Les citrons poussent sur un... Qui a des citrons dans son jardin? Qui parlait? Who was talking?
Mhm.
I was. Citronnier.
Citronnier. Voilà, c'est ça. Un citronnier. On double le N.
Ah.
Mais c'est ça, oui. Qui a d'autres fruits dans son jardin?
J'avais un...
Oui. Qui parlait?
Lothar, moi j'ai des plumes.
Plume. Alors, plume, qu'est-ce que c'est? Plum.
prune.
Vous connaissez? Voilà, c'est prune. Et les prunes?
Ah, prune, oh pardon, prune.
Prunes.
Apricot.
Alors, c'est féminin. Les citrons, c'est masculin. Bon, les prunes, vous prendrez votre dictionnaire pour le genre. Elles poussent sur un
Prunier.
prunier. Et les abricots poussent sur les
Abricotier.
abricotiers, etc. Voilà, c'est ça. Donc, là, vous pouvez multiplier votre vocabulaire par 2. You can double your vocab pretty much easily, okay? Oh, well, your fruit vocab, at least. Voilà. On continue. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the present participle because I don't know how familiar you are with it. So we have 2 present participles in the text, which are... Which ones were there?
Courant.
En courant. Nous partions en courant, ouais. Et puis
Grandissant.
en grandissant. En grandissant, voilà. Alors, qu'est-ce que ça... So it's not a full lesson, but just a quick brush up. What does the present participle, what its meaning?
But in English it would end in ing.
Oui, oui, c'est vrai. Et en français, il termine par ANT. C'est une similitude, ouais. But what about it, so that's how to make it. So we're going to, I'll complete that in a short while. And what is its meaning? You don't know? You just go from translation?
Oh, no.
Ouais.
Ouais.
Describe something happening at the same time.
While growing.
Yes,
Growing
yes, that's it. So there's always the idea, the meaning of the, can I say simultaneity? Is it?
Ouais.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
Okay, so the actions, so the actions of verbs are performed simultaneously, comme ça?
Yeah.
I think so. So it's Donc, at the same time. And this meaning is always has this meaning. It can have additional meanings on top of that, but at least always this meaning of things being simultaneous. So, si quelqu'un nous voyait, nous partions en courant. Partir et courir, they are done at the same time. You live and you run at the same time. There's another second example. En grandissant, la vie est devenue plus sérieuse. So life has become more serious as we were growing, at the same time as we were growing. There are actually like 3 meanings to the present participle, but really we're interested in the main 2. The second time, most of the time, it also has it also describes the manner, which is like how the things are done. And I say sometimes, but here it's the case for nous partions en courant. So how were we living? Like by running. So the way something is done, manner, the way thing is done, way the thing is done. D'accord?
Ouais.
Et pour le faire, oui, on a can I put a tab? Non. Space? Non, space. Donc, on va utiliser en, la préposition en, plus. So what is going to be the stem for our verb?
ANT.
Alors, ça c'est, ouais, the ending plus ANT. And how do you find the stem for your verb? Look at partions, courant et grandissant. You're going to, ouais.
Stem.
The stem of what?
The infinitive.
Not the not the infinitive, because grandissant, the infinitive is not grandissez or something. It's the verb
Grandir.
grandir. Mm-mm. The stem of nous in the present. Again, so it's the same thing as when you make the imparfait, actually.
Ah.
So it's very important to know how to conjugate the present tense, because first you make the present tense, then you also use the present tense to make the near future, je vais quelque chose, or the recent past, je viens de something. You also need to use the present tense to make the imparfait, using the new form of the present, to make the present participle, present in the recipe I just gave you. You also use the present tense with the third person plural, the il plural, to make your stem for the subjunctive. So it's important to know your present. Voilà. Donc,
Do you want to say then up the top, N plus stem of nous? Or,
yes.
Or?
Thank you. No, stem of nous. Wait. Of nous in the present. And this present participle is invariable. There's never an agreement. You never add an I or an S. You can see nous partions en courant. So courant is also nous during the action, but there's no S. It never changes. So let's just make a few examples using the present participle. And actually, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. Can you make the next 3 sentences using a present participle? So, prendre une douche et chanter en même temps. parler et manger en même temps. Can you put that in a sentence? Et se casser la jambe et glisser, to slip, sur une peau de banane. Take 2 minutes to make your sentences. Ça va? Are you managing to put them in a one sentence? Okay, alors prendre une douche et chanter. So we have the idea of like they're done at the same time, and also in a way the way the thing is done. So how you take your shower, like with in music. Alors un exemple? Qui a une phrase?
Pris une douche en chantant.
Oui, j'ai pris. Ok. J'ai pris une douche. Donc, en chantant. Voilà. Sometimes it doesn't work as well the other way around, but in this sentence, it would be fine also to say that you like singing while having a shower. You could also use the other verb. For example, j'aime chanter en prenant ma douche. Sometimes it works better when one specific verb is in the present participle. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. Parler et manger. So 2 actions being done at the same time. Can you give me a sentence? Alors, I have someone, voilà, I have Vina who writes to me in the chat. Le petit enfant parle en mangeant. Oh my God, my daughter does that all the time. Alors, she hardly even eats. She speaks and forgets to eat. Donc, le petit enfant parle en mangeant. Voilà. Mange en parlant would be a bit more strange. He eats while talking. He talks while eating. Donc, oui, alors on n'oublie pas qu'if you need to add an E here.
Ouais.
Because if you don't, you have mangeant.
Ouais.
So we don't want to change our pronunciation to recognize that it's the same verb. Le petit enfant parle en mangeant et se casser la jambe et glisser sur une peau de banane. Donc, simultaneously, and also here we have a very good example of the how. How did you break your leg? By slipping on the banana peel. Can I have your sentence?
Je me suis cassé ma jambe en glissant sur une peau de banane.
Oui, alors, there's something interesting that you said here. So it was great, actually. Je me suis cassé ma jambe en
Glissant.
une peau de banane. Okay, alors, oui, it's this one that you need to use in the present participle because you can't really say I slipped on a banana peel while breaking my leg. That doesn't work in the other way so much. Casser, oui, here I instinctively put the feminine because it was you talking, but a man would not put the additional E. We have here this example of attends, je me suis cassé. Non. Oh, now I have that. I need to recheck that. The être, the auxiliary être implies that you need to make the agreement with the subject. C'est cassé la jambe. But I just have a doubt because here we have a direct object following and I need to recheck my rule, so I will put it in the answer later. Je me suis cassé. Because for reflexive verb, there's an additional subtlety, and now I just have a doubt. Je me suis cassé ma jambe. We won't say that in... Wait. Je me suis cassé la jambe. In English, you would say I broke my leg. In French, I have a podcast episode about that, or also in French or a podcast about like body parts. We understand from the subject who the leg belongs to. So you don't need to say, to use the possessive adjective to say who it belongs to.
D'accord.
Voilà, it's kind of implied. And to finish with the present participle, would you be able to come up with a few more sentences of your own with the verbs of your choice? Who would like to try something?
J'aime chanter en fait du jardin.
J'aime chanter en...
du jardin, do the gardening.
Faire du jardin. Mais alors, il faut le participe. Alors, faire du jardinage, oui. Faire du jardinage, déjà. Alors, attention, ça c'est un bon exemple. Donc, les deux en même temps, c'est simultané. Faire, ici, c'est un infinitif. How do you make the present participle? You already have the en. Now you need the form of your verb.
F-A-I-T.
Ah, non. Alors, the stem is going to be the nous form. How do you conjugate faire with nous in the present? Nous...
Faisons.
Faisons. So then you remove the NS and then you add your...
A-I-T.
Ouais. And therefore, j'aime chanter en...
En
faisant du jardinage. Oui. And it's not obvious what the present participle would be if you don't know how to conjugate it with nous.
Ouais.
Très bien.
Merci.
De rien. Un autre exemple?
If you're using the reflexive verb, do you just put like say in front of like say, lever, or
Oui.
Les vents. Or,
You need to make this reflexive pronoun apply to whoever the person is, so to your subject. Do you have an example?
while getting up in the morning,
Mhm.
I do my exercises.
Oui, alors it's not so simultaneous. Usually you get up and then you do your exercise, but you could get up. Maybe you can fall from your bed while you get up or something like that.
Yeah. It's got to be simultaneous, right?
Oui, it has to be simultaneous. So how would you do this sentence, Jacqueline? I fell from my bed while getting up.
Je m'ai tombé.
Alors, c'est le verbe tomber.
En se levant.
Alors, c'est le verbe tomber, pas se tomber. C'est juste tomber. Je
suis tombé.
Je suis tombé. Voilà. Alors, who is getting up? C'est who is the subject? C'est
Je.
Voilà. Donc, en me.
Right.
En me levant. The reflexive part needs to apply to the person doing the action.
Oh.
Et tu es tombé en te levant.
Si.
Et vous êtes tombé en vous levant.
Oui.
Oui, c'est une très bonne question.
Thank you.
On fait un dernier exemple. Because every time we come with something to extra to explain, so that's good. I have an example in the chat here. Je téléphonais à mon ami en regardant la télé. Oui, je vais faire un copier-coller là. Très bien. Je téléphonais à mon ami en regardant la télé. Ou je regardais la télé en téléphonant. Bien. Ça va? Alors, don't forget simultaneity. Don't forget to use the new stem as well. And reflexive verbs, the reflexive pronouns still need to be kind of conjugated or declined to match the subject of the action. Super. Et dernière, toute petite chose, petit commentaire pour aujourd'hui.
And would you be able to write down, please, the difference you said at the very beginning of the lesson between rappel when it's got one L and when it's got two L's? You said about the different sound. Would you be able to write that down, please?
And do you hear the difference in the sounds?
More or less, but I wouldn't be able to repeat it.
Okay, we're going to, I'll put it here. We're going to conjugate appeler together.
Okay.
And it will work for s'appeler and rappeler and se rappeler or everything that's kind of have to do with this. So the verb appeler, you can hear the sound.
Yeah.
It's called the schwa. I call it the minimal sound because that's the sound you make without making any effort with your mouth. It's just it's the by default sound. And it's a weak sound. So if I want to conjugate with je, if I just apply my rule, because it's an ER verb, so if I just remove the ER and add my ending, I'm going to have a pronunciation problem in the sound. It's a very weak sound. Say j'appelle. We need a strong syllable to finish a word in French because that's where the stress is put. So some verbs in aller and also in et take an accent grave, but not appeler and jeter. And I will talk about it because I'm talking about it in one of the upcoming grammar clinics actually, because I don't remember which one, but I've already designed the content and I'm going through that rule precisely. So we need to change the sound. So we double the L because in French, when the letter E is followed by two consonants, the pronunciation is E. So it's the case in L. It's also the case in my name. It's not Jessica, it's Jessica because it's followed by two S's. But it doesn't need to be twice the same consonant. It can be an R and a C or just two consonants. And so we have still a E, merci, and not merci. Another way of having the sound E would be to add accents. But by the way, you don't put accents in front of two letters because these two, in front of two consonants, the two consonants already alter the sound. So I would put two L's for pronunciation. The thing is, I don't have the phonetic alphabet here on my keyboard like that, so I'm just going to put, it's not the right sound, but pronunciation a strong sound. Alors, I'm going to just write as I would conjugate a verb in like an ER verb. So I put the ES, E, and then nous, Apple, and ONS, and then vous, Apple, and EZ, and E, Apple, and ENT. And now let's see if it's pronounceable. So here is tu. If I read this word,
Apple.
Tu appelles. 2 week again. So you need to double. Yeah. Tu appelles. And tu t'appelles, tu te rappelles, etc. Il appelle, also 2 week, double DL. Nous and vous, as I said, they're always different. They always work. Nous and vous, they always work because ONS is on and EZ is E, and so that's a strong sound that you can finish with. So nous appelons, and you don't even need, I call it the minimal sound. In the south of France, they will tend to still pronounce it. But because it's minimal, it's even optional. You can not pronounce it. Nous appelons. It's perfectly fine. The only reason why you need to put an E sometimes is just because you can't pronounce so many consonants without having any vowel. It's unarticulable, if I want to say. So you need to add a little vowel. But it's only to be able to say it. So we just put the minimal sound. Vous appelez or vous appelez. It's quite weak because we have a strong ending. And here we are back to kind of the ENT in the plural, in the il plural is not pronounced. So we're back at apple. So we double to have the E in front of a double consonant, therefore pronounce E. Ils appellent.
Oh, thank you, that's very helpful.
Ah, pas de problème. Et donc, c'est la même chose pour... why does it change? Appelle. C'est la même chose pour... jeter. So that's for verbs in ele and et. at the end, because if I conjugate it just as I should really, we have je jette. Je jette is also too weak. So we're going to add a second T. Je jette. Je jette, tu jettes, il jette. Nous
Jetons.
jetons, pas de problème.
Jetons.
Et c'est nous jetons, vous jetez, we have a strong sound. Et il jette, we need the double T again. So these two verbs and the other verbs ending in ele and et, they will actually, instead of doubling the consonant, they will actually take an accent grave. But they need an alteration. C'est bon, Jacqueline et tout le monde?
Ouais.
Ouais, d'accord. Alors, ma dernière toute petite rapide question. Nos parents rêvaient d'une vie meilleure. Can you, and if you've already attended the first grammar clinic, I think we've already done that, replace the words in bold, so d'une vie meilleure, by a pronoun.
Nos parents, on revêt.
Oui, pourquoi en?
C'est d'une vie.
Oui. Alors, this word, or actually group of words, starts with de, and if you want to replace, if you want to use a pronoun to replace something, generally, starting with de, the pronoun will be en. And why is de? It's just because rêver, the verb rêver, to dream of, like in English, comes with the preposition de. On rêve de quelqu'un ou on rêve de quelque chose. Therefore, the use of the pronoun en. Est-ce que ça va, ça?
Ouais.
Ouais. We're going to talk, it's the next, I think it's the next one, next week. Yeah, actually it's next week, Sunday. At the same time at 9 p.m. I'm going to be doing a grammar clinic workshop to talk in depth about the pronoun en, which we touched already in grammar clinic number 1, but we'll do more example and we'll go deeper with like more rules. So everything about the pronoun en, if you're interested. I will make an announcement in my upcoming events page on my website. So maybe I'll write the address for you in the chat. Where's the chat? There. Group chat, frenchyourway.com.au/events. It's actually, oh wait, I want to write to everyone at the same time. How do I do that? And I'm going to stop share and to Vina, to everyone. Okay. It's already, I've already put the preparatory worksheet, which you can, it's already on my website. You can download it if you want to practice, see where you're at with the pronoun en, and it's free. It's on that page. There's also the button to enroll. It's already put online. And there's going to be also, because that came often in the question from the past students and what they need help with, they're going to be also a grammar clinic the day before, actually. So Saturday morning in Melbourne time, about bien versus meilleur, and actually how to tell the difference between an adverb and an adjective. So yeah, there'll be 2 grammar clinics next weekend. And they're all my events page. And I think for that one, I also designed a worksheet which you can download. Need to double check because I've done so much work. I don't know what I've done and not done yet. But yeah, have a look. And if you think you need a bit of help with this, well, I'll be happy to see you next week. And if you can't make it, you can still register and you get the automatically the replay and the PDF and the answers later. Like I send you everything. So is that clear for everything that we've brushed up today?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Ça va, ouais? D'autres questions?
No.
No.
Tout est clair. D'accord. Ok.
Thank you. Dormez bien.
Ben, merci. Oui, je vais bientôt y aller. Je vais prendre un petit peu de temps pour moi, peut-être lire ou faire quelque chose de sympa. Merci Vina pour les gentils mots. Merci Rosaline pour votre merci. Et puis merci à vous d'être venus. Surtout si vous êtes en Australie qui commence à être tard. Et si vous avez des questions, if any question comes up at any time about what we've done and like it marinates a bit and it pops up while you're in the shower or anything, email me. You can always do that, always. Okay?
Thank you.
Pas de problème. Alors, à bientôt.
Il y a une question dans le chat.
Il y a une question dans le chat. Can you give me the link to your site? Oui. Alors, it's written like frenchyourway.com.au. That's my site. And you can go to, there's a tab, it says upcoming events, or you just go to frenchyourway.com.au/events. And you will see I've scheduled a few grammar clinics there. I've scheduled another games in French as well. You have the date and you have the links on how to join, because that's free as well if you want to play in French. So yes, and my website is just, I'm so frustrated with my website at the moment. I'm really not happy with it. And I think it's hard to find the content because over the past years, I had designed and put up a lot of free worksheets for you. And it's quite hard to find. I'm hiring someone at the moment to just redo the website. So it will be more functional and you can find things more easily and also book the events more easily, because I think there's a bit of friction point here. Sometimes for some unknown and mysterious reason, people who register get one PDF, like the worksheets, but not the PDF with how to log in. It's a complete mystery for me. So I'm going to change that like as soon as possible. So thanks a lot for your patience. And if you need me to send you manually any like missing link or anything before a workshop, try not to tell me just 2 minutes before, but just get in touch with me directly and I'll do that. Bon, alors, je vous remercie beaucoup. Bonne journée aux États-Unis. Bonne nuit à Melbourne et puis bonne après-midi en France. Et à bientôt, j'espère.